Hey everybody, hope everyone's having a good evening. I just wanted to share my thoughts that I have spoken with some of my friends and family about recently. It's nothing bad, it's just an issue that I think my generation personally, as well as society as a whole, we kind of overlook or we kind of don't understand as a whole. And it's a little thing that I have learned and like to call self sufficiency. So there's a couple different ways you could define that, but really it's being independent, looking out for yourself, self care, self love. Now, what does that mean? Well, it can honestly mean a couple different things to different people. The first thing you think of, independence. Okay, being on my own, living, in my own place, having my own bills, my own car, my own pets, my own this, my own that. Okay, I mean, I myself can relate to that some. I have several friends and family members who can also relate to that, and that's great. But a whole nother part of being self sufficient is finding that happiness. Like, what makes you yourself happy? Now, having your own network of people that care about you and hanging out with them or talking to them or whatever, yeah, that's good to make you happy. But when you yourself are in your own head, how do you make yourself happy? That's what I feel like a lot of us struggle with. I know I struggle with it at times. And I guess it's different for other people. Um, I mean, I might not be able to make myself content and happy the same way that the next person would. Um, but I think a lot of it really is in our society, in our generation. Um, if you are a young guy or girl and you don't have somebody else around to make you happy or that you have to be dependent on to make you happy, you struggle because you wonder if something's wrong with you or you wonder why that person isn't around yet, or I don't know. I guess you feel like something's missing, and I myself have been there. I'm kind of there now. I have really good family and friends that are there, and I guess I'm just here to tell you that there's nothing wrong with you. Really, the only thing that will be wrong with you per se is that you yourself need to start making yourself more happy. And I guess that kind of sounded really direct and bossy when I said it out loud. I wasn't trying to be, but I'm also trying to convince myself of that. You know, a couple of things I can share that make me happy would be journaling and writing my thoughts down, or having a different arts and crafts project or something like that for my apartment, or adopting two cats that I have 1,000 videos of because they're just so cute and hilarious. Um, Listening to new music. My Spotify playlist is over 1,000 songs because if I do not listen to music in a given day to get me going, to get me through the day on a drive, whatever, I feel like in a way I'm not quite as happy. So there's different ways that people can keep themselves happy without having another person around. Um, and I'm not here to dismiss that having that network of people is a bad idea at all. I'm saying it's a good idea. But I think what a lot of us struggle with is if we don't have, or when we don't have that communication with other people for very long, that we are just a lost cause, there's something wrong with us, we suck, I don't know, just whatever you want to say. And that's not necessarily true. And it's really hard for young singles like myself because we feel like we are being judged for it. I get asked, not all the time, but by whoever, whether it's people that I work with or whenever I'm taking my car in or whatever. I could be walking down the street, and that'd be kind of weird because you'd be walking down the street, but that's beside the point. Somebody could come up and ask me though and compliment me on my looks or whatever I said that was polite or something, and ask me, why don't you have a boyfriend? Or why this, why that? And I could very respectfully tell them to F off, which I have thought about at some points in time. But honestly, I just say, I don't know, I guess I'm just picky. And I guess that's the truth because I don't know. I mean, it's just really hard to trust people sometimes. And I guess it's all about just wanting to keep yourself happy first. and not have to link that happiness to someone else. So, keeping yourself happy is definitely good for your self-worth. It's definitely good for doing what you have to do in a given day, such as taking care of those bills and whatnot. And being, the happier you make yourself, the happier you will be to other people. And so I guess I just want to end this by saying, if you can't find one thing that makes you yourself happy, just yourself alone in a given day, one thing, then you weren't really living. So whether, I mean, today for me it was getting Applebee's because I was craving that so bad, and it was, wearing, sunflowers because I love sunflowers. Just things like that. There's nothing wrong with keeping yourself happy first, and if you do that, I can promise you that just like me or just like anybody else, while we are not perfect, we could live a full and happy life.